And
David,
which episode are we?
is it number 5?
Number 5. Here we are.
Number 5. Hey, David, I want to just start off and say that you make that jacket look good.
Oh, I think.
That,
Would you? Okay, so if you're a listener on the podcast, you're not going to be able to see the jacket. I suggest you slide on over to YouTube, type in Dudes in Kansas Show, and you'll find our YouTube channel. And you'll find the same episode that you are listening to, and you'll be able to watch us and see what these crazy guys what we look like. And you'll be able to see this fine jacket from the 1970s. Yes, it's vintage. It was my father's back in the day, and when he grew out of it several decades ago, I snatched it up.
dude,
So,
that's an Easter egg. That is a treasured find.
oh yeah, it is, man. I have loved this jacket, and strangely enough, it's like one of those things. You get a classic cut, you get a classic look, and even if it's not the prime in style, it'll come back in style.
Oh, definitely.
And come back over and over and over. So it's you could call it the professor look. It's a pretty flexible jacket. So
It is
I love
now
it.
going to be my goal to find me a jacket like that. That would be totally Dudes in Kansas Show wearing totally retro jackets.
Retro jackets. Yeah, I can't tell you exactly which part of the 70s it was, but 1970s.
Fantastic,
Great
buddy.
Bend, Kansas, nonetheless.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. So
Wonderful.
for those of you that are listening or watching, we are the Dudes in Kansas Show, and we're coming to you from Wichita, Kansas. And I'm David.
And I am Kent.
All right. So introductions out of the way. I wanted to give you a little bit of a rundown on what you're going to be listening to this episode. We're going to be talking about a movie, Ghostbusters.
Oh, man.
We'll be talking about, is this truly a news left lane rule, or is this just us talking about the left lane rule?
Let's just say it's us talking about the left
Okay.
lane. As much traveling as we do, I think our listening audience will find some humor.
In the left lane rule, absolutely. And, crazy things our kids have been saying recently.
Oh,
Because,
boy.
everybody's got it. And all of mine are from my son because he is pretty good at throwing out weird and random things. So I think that's our rundown, basically. So
Sounds like a really great rundown, buddy. So
All right.
let's get started, man. So there's something strange in the neighborhood. Who do you call
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters?
Oh, yeah. Do-do-do-do.
Exactly. Slimer, you got those 4 crazy guys going
yeah.
around
Yeah.
using their tasers on ghosts. The super, what is it? They call it the supernatural or something.
Yeah.
This movie came out around June of 1984.
Nice memory. Damn.
Oh, thank you. Because we were only 4 at the time,
Yes.
but I could remember distinctively watching this movie, probably not when I was 4, right around 5, 6 years old. And I remember getting some of the old Ghostbusters toys.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I had like the taser gun where you had the backpack.
Yep.
And
Proton pack.
A proton pack. Good. And I had a proton pack. And you click the trigger and it would throw Slimer on the wall.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So it was a image.
That's
So
right.
it was a little light in there, and it threw him up on the wall. That's cool.
Yes, this is totally cool for 1986 or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
those are my greatest memories. And so, anyways, I introduced my kids to these movies.
Mm-hmm.
In lieu of the ones that the female version that just came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And
Go for the classic.
That's right. And I just found out that they're going to make a brand new Ghostbusters.
Yes, they are. I'd seen that too. I think you told me.
Yes, exactly. And I can't remember, but the lead director's son is actually going to be producing the movie.
Yeah.
And so I saw the trailer for it, and dude, goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Goosebumps.
I did too. I was like, this feels like the original.
Exactly. And there was nothing wrong. I have to admit, I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I loved Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I never saw the all-female version. I do have planned to see it someday. But boy, when I saw that trailer for the new one, dude, it just felt like what you said. I felt,
Yeah, you had this tingling sensation. There's Hollywood has been they've been making a lot of great films, don't get me wrong, and they've been making a lot of duds. And I have all the respect in the world for people who spend their life doing what actors do, directors, all the people involved in movies. It's a lot of hard work.
It is.
And they deserve our respect, even when we don't care for their movies. That being said, there have been a lot of remakes recently, and I'm kind of like, why is there a remake that's only being made 20 years later, 30 years later? Why don't we come up with something fresh and imaginative? It seems, growing up in the 80s, I watched a lot of movies from the 70s. My dad's huge sci-fi fan, so I watched a lot of sci-fi from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Stop motion animation, fantasy flicks from that time. Some of them were really B-rate movies. Some of them were great flicks that were the diamonds in the rough. But the one thing that I noted about a lot of them, especially going back and rewatching them, is this sense of fun and creativity and just this. There's something about them, and I don't know if Hollywood's gotten too saturated with the digital. Oh well, we can make it look like anything we want, so let's dazzle them with effects and kind of be light on the content. But Ghostbusters is heavy on humor and fun, and while it's it's a great movie. It's just a great movie.
This is a great movie. I love it. And it's funny you said that. You know how you said you were you'd watch movies with your dad from the 70s.
Oh yeah.
And I can remember distinctively. I using that word again. Man, this must be in my plane. Distinctively, I can remember as a child. And it would be Saturday nights. And it'd be like 10:30 at night. And my father, he worked all the time. He wasn't home a lot. He was always working. Yeah. And so when we saw him on the weekends, it was like an awesome blessing in disguise. And I remember he would the local news would be on at 10 and close out at 10:30, and Bonanza would come on right after.
Yeah.
And
Bonanza.
I remember that that why that stuck out was, one, because I got to stay up late on Saturday nights. Otherwise, kids got their standardized routine of bedtime things going on. But I remember watching Bonanza with him from like 10:30 to 11:30 or something, and that was so awesome. So I think that was cool how you brought up back in the day when you used to watch movies with your dad and things were different. That's how I remember it as well. But being Ghostbusters, I had to show my kids because it's just the talk of the town right now.
Oh, yeah.
And we just recently watched it, and it was really awesome. And my kids, they weren't even scared by Slimer or by Gozer.
What about the dog?
No, they surprised.
They weren't freaked out about the dogs.
I think no, not at all. I don't think the terror that was made back in the day is the same type of terror that goes on today. I think they were just kind of like set back on, what is this?
I know I almost said I know for a fact, but it's not fact until it's proven correct. So I have about a 90% chance of being correct on this, that both of my children would be scared to death, and they would want to be sleeping on top of my face in the bed, or I'd wake up with them climbing on top of my head saying, like a cat trying to be protected. So it's like, I think Lillian's seen it. She saw it when she was probably too young to remember it now. But I know my son, Henry, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah, the old Stay Puff.
Oh, Stay Puff. I think they would laugh at Stay Puff Marshmallow Man. But Gozer, the Gozerian,
yeah,
I think it is.
Oh,
yeah. Where she's up there, that might freak them out with the eyes and the who knows. Who knows?
Who knows?
Kids surprise us all the time.
But it's a great movie, nevertheless.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you think about it, we were 5 and 6, 7, 8 when we were watching that movie. I believe Ghostbusters 2 came out in early 90s. So, no, thank you.
No problem.
Telling me to get closer to the mic?
Yes.
You want me to get
do.
closer than Mike?
No, you don't need to get that intimate, but if you're going to...
Are you sure?
I'm moving the mic a little bit.
I'll get intimate
there you
with
go.
the mic.
Oh, yeah. No. That just went a little wrong. So. All right, man.
All right, fantastic. What else you got on topic today again, buddy?
Let's see here. What?
With the left lane rule?
Left lane rule.
Okay.
Yep.
This is just a fun little side topic conversation. I'm always driving. I got my truck and my trailer. It's like 10,000 pounds. So I say that because it's harder for me to accelerate and stop.
Yeah, and truthfully, your job is at least what? How much percent on the road?
I would say at least 50, 60% on the road.
That's what you're doing is you're driving.
That's right.
So
I'm cruising along today on the local I don't know, call it highway or freeway here in Kansas, and I'm just I'm in the right lane, okay, and I'm doing 70, okay, and I'm passing people on the left. Or passing people on I'm on the right, and I'm passing people on the right and not on the left lane, where I should be.
They're slow in the left lane, so you're having to pass on the right, which is a big pain in the freaking butt.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. And I'm thinking to myself, now wait a minute, how many times has our listeners, please, and when you go onto the comment section, please, and nothing negative, don't go on there and start bashing or anything like that, because I think we've all have gotten, get stuck in that fixed stare, and we're listening to that funny podcast, and we get stuck in the left lane. But how many of us have seen someone in the left lane just stinking up the traffic?
Oh, all the time. It's like, I took defensive driving back in, I think it was my first year of college, because I got a speeding ticket. I was going a little too fast. And in the state of Texas, yes, I was. I was going 76 miles an hour in a 55.
Oh, you were moving.
I was moving because I was on a 2-lane highway, and it had split into 4 lanes. And there were lots of semis. The area I was in did a lot of logging, and I was trying to get around all these logging trucks and all these semis, so I wasn't stuck in between them going under the speed limit when it went back to 2 lanes. And it went from 55 to 70, and so I punched the crap out of it. I was in my Mustang at the time.
Oh, nice.
Got out in front of everybody and started slowing down. Well, while I was passing all the semis, the speed limit changed. But I couldn't see it because I was passing all the semis on the left, and it dropped back down to 55. And so I came up over a hill, 76, and it was 55 miles an hour. However, I took defensive driving to get it off my record, and they taught you when you're going to pass, you get in the left lane and you stick your foot in it.
Oh, really?
Yes, that was in the defensive driving. Is you do not pass going the same speed as the car, or like a mile an hour more. No, you pass with the intention to pass them and then reduce your speed back to the legal speed. And that's what I remember learning in the defensive driving. Now, it may change. Please correct me. Add it in a comment. Tell us what your thoughts are on that. But I get out there and I punch it, especially if it's a semi. I want to go around that thing as fast as I can, and then get back in the right-hand lane, and then just cruise along. So that's my philosophy with it.
Almost sounds like you got stuck in a speed trap.
It was absolutely a speed trap.
Over the hill, drop speed limit, and there is Officer 50.
Yep. Yeah, it was actually a famous place for being a speed trap, and I was just not thinking about it at the time, and boom, there it was.
That's happened to me once too. I was heading towards Kansas City, and the speed limit is usually, let's see here, it would be 70, and it drops down to 55. But it's just at the hill, it drops down. So it's like 11 o'clock at night. I got my kids sleeping in the back, and the other is sitting in the other seat, and we're all just minding our own business, and I'm just zoned in the left lane because I know I'm gonna have to get off onto the toll road, which is on the left lane. That's why I'm traveling in the left lane, because I know I'm about to get off. And I'm doing 70 and it drops down to 55, and I didn't let off that cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
And
boom.
11 o'clock at night, there's the cop. Popped me, got me a nice big fat ticket.
Everybody's awake now.
Yep,
huh?
Corbin wakes up. He's reminding me now, hey, Dad, remember that time you got in trouble with the cop? Yes, Corbin, I remember. So
Be quiet.
Be quiet. But anyways, I guess the reason I wanted to mention the left lane, because I thought it was pretty interesting that I'm traveling in my big truck, trailer, and here's this Honda just cruising in the left lane, literally just cruising, and I'm,
Flying on the right.
And I'm doing the speed limit. So for all you out there is a Kansas law, and I don't know about the other 49 other states, but I'm pretty sure they all follow the same rule. It is actually illegal to be cruising in the left lane, unless, of course, it's called the passing lane.
Yeah.
So please, for safety and all intended purposes, please move to the right.
Stay in the right lane. Get the hell out of my way.
That's exactly right. Especially if you're traveling in Texas.
Oh, yeah, man. Left lane for passing only.
Exactly.
That's the typical. In Texas, they just need 3 lanes everywhere. I mean, let's just be honest. 2-lane highway is a waste of time, Texas. It's a waste of time. Fix it. Thank you. Love you. Peace.
Wonderful. What else you got on docket today, buddy?
All right. Well, things kids say.
Oh, boy.
I know. This is actually a recommendation from a would-be listener, given some advice ahead of time of some topics they'd like to hear about. And I'm going to start it off with my son. So here are a couple of, it was probably 2 weeks ago. He was talking to my wife, and he said, when I grow up, I will have a restaurant to serve girls and boys.
Nice.
But not idiots.
Where'd he get that one from?
I don't know where he got that one from, but that's
again,
funny. The fun things they say. And here's another one. He was caught hiding a lollipop that he was opening. So he was starting to open it, and we heard the wrapper, and we went over, and he said, I couldn't resist the temptation. It's like, where does this kid come from where he's saying I can't resist the temptation? Most of the time they're just like, ha ha, and they run away. But you got any?
Yeah, it was funny. I think you just heard it today. We had our Friday night get together.
Oh, yeah.
And my kids are playing with your kids. But earlier in the week, my daughter is running around the living room, and she's getting into behind the couch, and she's getting under the cushions and all that. And we're asking her, Callie, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm just getting in my beaver hole.
And as parents, you think that you have that pubescent adolescence mentality sometimes as adults, and you think, wow, that's not appropriate for a child to say. And then you have to step back and go, yeah, that child's just being a child. They have no idea what they're saying.
So after my wife and I were laughing about this, because we're like little kids. When a little kid hears the word poop or something, it's funny. Well, when us adults hear beaver hole,
we laugh on the same.
We're kind of like giggling over here. She said beaver hole. So, and if you're not relating to this, I'm sorry. I don't.
This isn't the show for you.
I'm sorry you're offended. But
still subscribe and follow.
Yes, tell your friends. So we after we're done giggling, like our kids do, we asked Callie, where did you hear the word beaver hole? And she pops up, totally throws her brother under the bus. I heard it from Corbin.
Oh, man, that was quick.
And so we did not investigate. Maybe that's bad parenting. I should have looked into that. We did not ask Corbin where he heard the word beaver hole. But long story short, it was kind of humorous because we were over there playing with your children. My kids were playing with your children. And the word beaver hole was just being thrown around.
Henry's saying, man, I'm going to jump into your beaver hole. And it's like, man, yeah, it's just like commercials where they say some of the things they do, and they're not meaning to say it that way. It's like, man, they need to really hire us to curate people with our mind that's partially in the gutter to curate your commercials before you put them out there. Yeah,
that's funny. That's all I can remember this week.
I got one more.
Ooh, tell.
I can't guarantee you we're gonna have this every episode, but this was another great one. So Henry got sick earlier this week.
Ooh, bummer.
Yeah, it was I think Tuesday. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. He was kind of just seemed at dinner time, and then when my wife was putting him to bed, she was sitting in bed going to read him a book, and he was sitting up, and I hear this. Blah.
Oh, the dreadful burp.
Oh yeah, and he just all over her, all over himself.
Oh.
Thankfully, it was contained in the bed.
She got baptized.
Oh yes, it was baptism. Yeah, and so it was. I'll leave it there for anybody squeamish. We don't want to make you sick. But so the next day, my wife, she was trained as a registered nurse. And so she's like, man, you threw up. It's the brat diet. It's the bread, apples, rice, and no, it's banana. Pardon me. Banana, apple, rice, and toast.
Nice.
And so he was having some bread. So I've set the stage. Here's the commentary. Mary said, "Do you want a little piece of bread, Henry?" Henry said, "Yeah. Give me some of that good juice from church to dip it into." Mary's response was, "Son, I'm not going to serve you communion."
Nice.
That was priceless. I was just like,
nice.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like my son. Little schemer. He's a master manipulator on the highest level.
Very nice. That's wonderful. Well, hey, buddy, believe it or not, I hate to cut things short on you, but it's been 20 minutes already.
20 minutes already?
20 minutes already.
It's been going fast. And, well, I guess we got everything on our list taken care of, so...
Exactly. So, David, why don't you give the great audience our closing statements for us?
All right, I will. Please subscribe to either your podcast or your YouTube feed that we are part of. You can find us on YouTube, Podbean, and iTunes under Dudes in Kansas Show. I think you're going to find that we're the only ones out there that are the dudes in Kansas. So here we are. Find us, subscribe, listen, add comments, tell us what you like, what you don't. Be constructive about it, because the whole idea is that you hear enough negativity throughout the day. We want to try to bring some positive fun and some enjoyment.
Well said, David. Thank you.
That's it, man.
All right, keep rocking with that jacket out.
I will. Thanks, man.
Yep.
See you.